Morning. I was just out flint knapping and doing a little punch work. And I don't know if I've shown this in the video before. This is, I should have started this earlier. But, this is a really tall, thick, small ball of Edwards amoeba, and it's a little bit tough on the top. And so I did some hammerstone percussion. And then when I'm using a smaller punch, I like to do a lot of leather support. It locks it in and it supports the flakes, and it makes it easier than holding on this tough material. This is the whitetail tine. It's helpful to have the edges near the tip taken off, because the very outside of the antler will like to flake a little bit, so I take that down. This tine is curved, but the antler, when I drill, oftentimes antlers are just curved, and they work pretty well anyway. So if you cut them off to the straight spot, then it's soft in the antler. So, and I like to use them like this sometimes, floating when I'm doing trimming up on an edge. So a small curve is kind of nice. You have two options. In this case, it's on this side, but I'm working on the leather, so it'll stick pretty well. So let's set up some edges and show the energy. When I want to take a flake, I'll just put the punch up sort of on the edge and it's flat, and the flake it's not going to move, so I get a lot of energy in, and the flake is supported, and so it's a good way for early thinning for using the antler punch for these small ones especially. And you can just do a little trimming up. So kind of look for little ridges, or you can start at the tip and go back and forth, it doesn't matter. Sort of trim along. And get one here. You move over just a little bit, move up. A little one right here. Let's get this thick spot here, and maybe one there, and then I'll turn and we'll just come back across, and then we'll have the thickest we need. Let's sort of trim it back just a little bit. I think I'm gonna make a little Nolan out of this. Edges are getting close to being turned, but maybe a little thick right there, so just do a little more here. This might be helpful to people that they might be working with a little bit of heavier platforms because they're getting used to the punch. So if you can get, this is several pieces of leather, so I can put it down, and it's got a little support. If just one leather on a leg, you might get some leg stinging. So get enough leather that you're comfortable. Since this is, it's got kind of a bevel here from the other edge, I'll probably do one just short set of flakes to get the contour started. And just do one flake back here. The problem with fluting this way is that normally you push with a thumb and then the point will be up, and so this doesn't work really well for fluting because you'll get to the point of support where you're pushing because your leg is rounded. You can get some reverse hinges or some plunging flakes happen. So a little closeness you can do it, but on heat-treated material, it'll really want to dive through. So this is really good for doing edges. See, one more thick spot there and there. Always, if you're gonna flake on this face, and you want to turn the edge when you abrade, don't do this, and don't do this. Do this. That'll move that edge a little bit more for you. Since these are short flakes, I'm just going to use the finger here. Little bump, so come back. Try to get one to run down here. I can make that platform a little better, but there we go. Okay. A little heavy. There we go. It's a little heavy too, so I'll just do one small one and then move over. When you get your edges even, you end up doing a lot of serial flaking. And when you have a thickness on one side, then you do a lot of serial flaking on one side. You have thickness on both, and you can decide if you want to work alternately, but when you can have consistency of flakes on turned edges, it just kind of makes sense. So I'm holding the preform with not a whole lot. I'm not pushing down really hard. I'm just sort of holding it in place. I'm going to do some trimming up on the back. I probably should have taken this cone out of the hammerstone bulb of percussion first off, but you can see it there. A little round cone. And come back on the top. Hopefully this is all in frame. But for the punch work, I think people, if they start on the smallest balls and maybe do some more support, it might help them. It's kind of thin on the back for Nolan now, so I might switch. One more little one here, and then we can turn back down and come across this way. Let's do a couple more flakes and I'll shut it down. I think first stage Pandel flaking could be set up with this, and then switch to pressure on the ridges. A misconception about some oblique flaking is that because the pattern looks like it's tight, that it's one tool and it's serially flaked, but I'm going to just go against kind of what I said. A lot of oblique flaking is spacing, flake, 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 and then a pressure tool to hit the ridges off of those other little flakes. And so those are just kind of skimmers. Because they follow those wider ridges, it makes the pattern tighter. not great edges, but see a little bump right there. Okay, that's the thickness I want. Hope this is in. So, a couple more, and then decide what we're gonna do. But I just wanted to show that the leather is kind of smushy. The angle here is, you know, I'm top. I'm sort of down on the inside of the leg, and you know, just getting the edge turned lowered. And I couldn't do this if I didn't have this punch back. So I'm getting inward because I have the angle. It's locked in. The punch has plenty of room to move, or at least as much as I need. And it's not gonna fall back. If I was just holding this under my knee, I wouldn't be able to do that. Or I might be able to if I really pinched it in tight, but then I'd be swinging for the fences. And it would seem like work. So yesterday I put some shirt in turkey roaster. So maybe I'll get that out later and see how it did. Let's do one more. I'm gonna put the punch right here and just get a little one to blend in there. Right there. Okay,